So, I guess this is a thing. There's been a lot of talk back and forth from Disney and everything since pretty much, they got the rights to Indiana Jones. A lot of people seem to forget that when they got Star Wars, they got Indiana Jones as well. So, we all kind of figured at some point or another, we kind of figured they would do something with the Indiana Jones franchise. Whether, there was talk of a reboot, there was talk of so many things, but now it looks like it's official, guys. We are getting a 5th Indiana Jones movie. Not a reboot, an actual Indiana Jones 5th part. Now, also, if the mic's going to pick that up, I don't know if it is, but that's the washing machine in the background. My room is literally right next to the washing machine. So I don't know. So I apologize if the mic picks that up or not. I don't know if it is, but yeah. So getting back to this real quick. This is really cool, but at the same time I'm worried because you guys remember a movie called Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Oh God, was that a bad movie? And you could argue, well, the writing wasn't that great, and Shia LaBeouf really killed it. There's multiple reasons as to why that movie just did not work story-wise, and, I will admit, it does have some great action scenes. It does have some really good action sequences, and Harrison Ford is not the bad thing in this movie. Everything else is bad. I mean, when this movie when this movie does action sequences, they're fun, they're exciting, they're very much like the old classic movie, but really, the rest of the story just kind of sucks. Everything sucks except Harrison Ford, who doesn't even look like he wanted to be in that film to begin with. Although it is weird because Harrison said he wanted to do another film, so I don't know. But yeah, this movie is set to debut in 2019. So yeah, this just comes out of nowhere. 2019, that is the schedule. And yeah, we are getting Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford back. Now, let me say this. There have been, I don't know which is what, because while this movie was confirmed, there have been conflicting news reports of what Spielberg's going to be, whether it be producer or director. Because I've heard he's going to be director, and then I heard other times he's going to be producer. In other cases, he's going to be both producer and director. So I don't know. Could someone clear that up of what he's going to be? Someone? Anyone? Anyway, so let's talk about this film, like the 5th Indiana Jones movie. Now, obviously, Harrison Ford is pretty old. Let's not forget that. But the thing is that I think the best way you could do this movie, and this is going to involve his son, is make it like another version of The Last Crusade. That's the best. I feel like that would be the best way to go with this film, is make it very much like The Last Crusade, but instead of, Indiana's dad, it's Indiana's son, who I would definitely have grown up a bit. Like, no Shia LaBeouf, I would have, I don't know, another actor. I don't want to say Chris Pratt because that's too obvious, and he's already been talked about multiple times. Hey, he should be the next Indiana Jones. How I kind of feel is, I feel like, yeah, if you're gonna do a movie like that, I would say have his son aged up, and he's kind of living in his father's footsteps while Indiana Jones are retired. But you have some enemy or some other force come back in this quest, and it forces Indy's son and Indiana to team up, very much like how just make another version of The Last Crusade. I feel like that would be the best way to go. You can't really have Indiana Jones, because at this point he would probably, Indy is, he's elderly, he's getting on in years, and, obviously that's how Harrison Ford is, but you have his son, who is kind of following in his father's footsteps, whereas his father's now, he's he's retired, the only thing he really does is his teaching. He really just, I would actually have that he's retired from teaching. He's retired from teaching, and now he's just kind of living out his days in, a cabin out in Alaska or somewhere remote. He's just kind of done with adventures. But you have his son who he's like, why did you go off and run off to be like me? This is how your mother left me for this, for the exact same reasons. And you have his son gallivanting around as, looking for stuff in museums, and he's just damn good at it. But you have him come across I don't know, like some Nazi cult, or I don't think I'd have the Russians again. Or maybe some other rival treasure hunter, or even pirate, like pirates, not our pirates, but more like some Hong Kong pirates or something like of that nature, and they've stolen like some artifact. Like I've always wanted, and they've done this in the Dark Horse comics too. Yeah, for those who don't know, there was Indiana Jones did have a Dark Horse comic run, but how I would do it is like have that someone has stolen like the Spear of Destiny. Yeah, someone has the Spear of Destiny, whether it be pirates or some rival scientist or some madman bent on using its power. And, the only way he can try to, Indy's son can find it is, well, his father tried looking for it, but he never got, he only got so far, so he needs his dad's help to help him find the rest of the clues to the Spear of Destiny. Or some other artifact of great, power. Or, it'd be really cool. Another way you could do this is have that, the area, Area 51 or wherever they keep the, the Ark of the Covenant and all the other artifacts in there. They're stolen. Like, all of them are stolen. And now Indy and his son have to team up to get those things back before, well, shit happens. So, that's one way to look at it. But I would definitely, like I've said before, the best way you can probably do this is just have like another version of Last Crusade. And you may be thinking, well, that's stupid. Why would we just go through the motions of another Last Crusade? Well, to be fair, The Force Awakens did that by following the steps of A New Hope. But what they did, and this is what I like, even though it's very much like, obviously I'm not going to deny that there are a lot of similarities between Force Awakens and A New Hope, the difference being is that it still felt fresh and the new characters still had those motions. That also happened in Creed, really. What really matters are the characters. It's not the story, because as I've said multiple times, every story has been told. In one version or another, every story you can imagine has been told. So the best you can do is make that story your own and make the characters in that story interesting. So, yeah, I'm all for a movie that follows the steps of The Last Crusade. Have you seen The Last Crusade? It's fucking brilliant. So, yeah. Just have Indiana... Who would play Indiana's son? I would still go with Chris Pratt. I mean, the dude is like Indiana Jones. And I know... I don't mean to jump on that bandwagon, but the dude could do it. The dude could do it. But yeah... I don't know, I don't want to say... Chris Pine's another obvious pick, but... I would say if for another actor who could play him, play his son, the older version of his son, man, it's really tough because those are the two ones that people pick, and with good reason, because they can honestly do those roles. Oh man, this is tough. Maybe Chris Evans. Chris Evans would be an interesting pick to play Indiana Jr. Yeah, all the actors I've picked have Chris in the middle of as their first name. How wonderful. Oh boy. But yeah, I am very, I like the idea because Disney's proven that they're taking these titles they've now bought and still making them good. They still have a lot of say in the, obviously they just guide over Marvel. They just, fund them. But with Star Wars and Indiana Jones, apparently, they do have a lot of say to that, say to those films. So, and after watching The Force Awakens, I'm kind of I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with Indiana Jones. This movie isn't coming out for another 3 years. Keep that in mind. This movie isn't coming out for another 3 years, and we just got the announcement today as of this recording. So, anything's possible. And it's usually, when Disney says, and I'm not going to say, just because they announced it doesn't mean it's going to happen. When Disney usually announces something, it more than likely happens. They're one of those studios, when they say something, they're going to do it. Regardless of what you say. But yeah. So, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the news for a new Indiana Jones film? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? How do you want the film to be done? Do you want it to be done with Indiana going on an adventure with his son? Or another way you could do this is have Indiana telling a story of his younger self. in his younger years, like a flashback type story where he's telling his grandkids or something about one of his adventures in his younger years, and have like a younger actor play him. Could have, it's a possibility. But yeah, really curious to see what you guys have to say about this, because I think this is also the first time I've talked about Indiana Jones. Also, side note, Marvel, Disney, I know I know Disney owns you, so sometime down the line, Marvel, because now you can do the comic books for Indiana Jones, because you're owned by the same people. Do a Captain America Indiana Jones crossover. God damn it, I have wanted this comic book to happen forever. I have always wanted to see Indiana Jones and Captain America team up. Come on, Marvel, Disney, let's get on this. So once again, really curious to see what you guys have to say about this. And yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.